You know that exact moment at maybe like 12:30 p.m. on a Tuesday when you open the fridge at work?
Oh, the dreaded office fridge moment.
Right. And you're just staring down this clear plastic clamshell container.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Inside is just this pile of pale, wilting iceberg lettuce. Maybe a couple of sad, mealy cherry tomatoes.
And like a few dry shreds of carrot if you're lucky.
Exactly. And as you peel back the plastic, you just feel this this profound sense of defeat.
It's awful.
If you're listening right now and nodding, you definitely know the feeling.
Yeah.
Because it's not a meal. It's like a punishment.
It really is. It's the culinary equivalent of an obligation.
Yeah.
You know, you're eating it because you feel like you have to check a health box, not because your brain or your body actually desires it.
Right. You're just powering through it.
Precisely.
Mm.
There is zero physiological or psychological joy in that plastic box.
I mean, when most of us hear the word salad, that depressing image is exactly what flashes into our minds. It just screams deprivation.
It really does.
But today, we're on a mission to completely rescue the salad from its terrible reputation.
Which is so desperately needed.
Seriously.
Yeah.
So we are pulling from some culinary science research today, specifically a guide on superfood salads. We want to figure out exactly why that clamshell lettuce makes you so miserable and, more importantly, how to mathematically fix it.
Yes, the math of a good meal.
We are tossing out the diet mindset completely and treating this like gastronomic engineering.
And I love that approach because the promise of that engineering is actually quite subtle. A properly constructed salad should never, ever leave you starving and foggy an hour after you eat it.
Which happens all the time with the plastic box.
Exactly. By shifting our focus away from just sheer volume and toward the precise chemical interactions of nutrient-rich superfoods, we can build meals that are vibrant, structurally complex, and genuinely satisfying.
Not just a bowl of leaves.
Right. We're talking about combining ingredients in a way that actively stabilizes your energy and supports overall wellness, rather than just, forcing down a bowl of crunchy water.
Crunchy water. Oh my gosh, that is the perfect description of iceberg lettuce.
It's really all it is.
It is. But before we get into the specific building blocks our sources lay out, I want to unpack the fundamental failure of the diet salad.
Let's do it.
Because I think a lot of people assume that if they just eat a massive volume of greens, they'll trick their stomach into feeling full. But that doesn't actually work, does it?
It doesn't. And what's fascinating here is the underlying chemistry of how our bodies actually perceive fullness.
Okay, so it's not just about a full stomach.
No, not at all. There are two mechanisms at play here: mechanical fullness and chemical satiety.
Mechanical versus chemical.
Right. So when you eat a massive bowl of plain lettuce, you are achieving mechanical fullness. The physical volume of the water and fiber stretches the mechanoreceptors in your stomach wall.
Kind of like blowing up a balloon.
Exactly like that. And that sends a signal to your brain that, hey, there is stuff in here, but your brain is smart.
It knows it's just crunchy water.
Exactly. It quickly realizes there is no actual caloric density or macronutrient value in that water.
So the stomach is stretched out, but the brain is still hitting the panic button looking for actual fuel.
Precisely. To achieve true chemical satiety, you need fats and proteins to trigger the release of hormones in the gut, like GLP-1 and cholecystokinin.
Okay, those are the heavy hitters for feeling satisfied.
They are. So if your base is just raw, untreated leaves with a splash of fat-free dressing, you are basically fighting a losing battle against your own biology.
Which explains why you're starving at 2 p.m.
Yes. For a salad to register to the brain as a complete meal, our sources point out that it requires a highly engineered sensory combination. 7 specific elements, actually.
7. Okay, what are they?
You need crunch, creaminess, sweetness, acidity, healthy fats, protein, and fresh herbs. Miss too many of these, and the brain simply rejects the experience as inadequate.
Okay, that makes so much sense. It's kind of like a symphony orchestra, right?
Yeah, I like that analogy.
Yeah, like plain lettuce is just one instrument playing a single note over and over. But you need the heavy-hitting brass and the percussion.
Proteins and fats.
Exactly, to actually make it music.
That's a great way to look at it.
Okay, let's unpack this a bit more. If we have the blueprint, greens, protein, healthy fats, color, dressing.
Yeah.
Does it automatically work if I just throw all those things in a mixing bowl?
Wow.
Because I've definitely tossed like raw kale, dried chicken, and almonds together and still ended up with a bowl of food that felt like a jaw workout.
Yeah, that brings us to the most critical foundation: how you treat the base.
The base matters that much.
Huge. You can have all the right elements, but if the structural foundation is flawed, the whole meal fails. Let's look at kale, for instance, since you brought it up.
Right, the ultimate health food.
It is. It's undeniably one of the most nutrient-dense leafy greens on the planet, loaded with vitamins and antioxidants. But structurally, the cellulose fibers in raw kale are incredibly rigid.
Oh, totally. Eating raw kale often feels like chewing on printer paper.
Exactly. So the sources suggest we need to massage it with olive oil and lemon juice.
Wait, so we have to give our vegetables a spa treatment?
I know it sounds ridiculous.
Does physically massaging the leaves actually change the chemical structure that much? Or is it just about spreading the oil around?
No, it's real chemistry. If we
Oh.
connect this to the bigger picture, it's actually a synchronized chemical reaction. And if yours turned out like a jaw workout, you likely needed more acid and a bit more time.
Okay, so it takes some elbow grease?
A little bit. When you physically rub chopped kale with a bit of olive oil and a heavy squeeze of lemon juice, you're doing both mechanical and chemical work. The physical agitation breaks the rigid plant cell walls.
Right, softening them up.
But the acidity of the lemon juice is the real hero here. It actually begins to chemically denature those tough cellulose fibers.
So you're basically pre-digesting it before it even hits your plate.
Exactly. You will physically see the leaves darken in color and shrink to almost half their volume. It softens the texture dramatically and strips away that harsh, bitter edge.
Oh, wow. I guess I didn't massage it long enough then.
Most people don't. The sources highlight a specific build here, like a kale salad with avocado, pumpkin seeds, dried cranberries, and a lemon vinaigrette.
That sounds amazing.
It works because the kale's structural integrity has been softened by the acid, so it can actually absorb the creamy fat of the avocado and contrast perfectly with the tartness of the cranberries.
Okay, I see how that comes together. But what if you don't want to do a chemical breakdown on your leafy greens? Like, you just don't have the time.
You can just skip leaves altogether.
Really, a salad without leaves.
Yeah. The sources point out that a salad base doesn't actually have to be a leaf. Quinoa is highlighted as a massive structural upgrade.
But why use a seed as a base instead of greens?
It really comes down to endurance, both in your stomach and in the fridge.
Endurance, okay.
Quinoa is a complete protein, meaning it contains all 9 essential amino acids your body can't produce on its own.
So it's already working harder than lettuce?
Way harder. When you use that as your foundation, like in the Mediterranean quinoa salad they outline, which incorporates cucumbers, cherry tomatoes, chickpeas, and fresh parsley, you are building a meal with serious architectural density.
And practically speaking, if you're meal prepping for work, delicate mixed greens are going to turn into a sad, soggy swamp if you dress them the night before.
Nobody wants a soggy swamp.
But quinoa acts like a sponge, right?
Yeah.
It absorbs the vinaigrette overnight. It honestly probably tastes better on day 2.
That is the key right there. It maintains its structural integrity while soaking up the acid and fat. But there is a catch.
Okay, what's the catch?
Even with a perfectly prepped base of massaged kale or marinated quinoa, a bowl of earthy, savory ingredients is going to cause palate fatigue by bite 10.
Palate fatigue. That's exactly why people get bored halfway through a salad.
Yes, your taste buds just get tired of the same note.
So how do we trick the palate into staying engaged for the entire meal?
Sensory contrast. Specifically, sweetness cutting through acid and bitterness. This is where fruit enters the equation.
Fruit in a salad can be polarizing, though.
Very. A lot of people resist putting fruit in their salad because they rigidly categorize greens as savory and fruit as sweet.
Right.
But adding something like blueberries completely transforms the physiological experience of eating the bowl.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though. The sources break down a recipe with mixed greens, blueberries, walnuts, goat cheese, and a balsamic vinaigrette.
It's a classic combination for a reason.
Yeah, the idea of putting sweet, bursting berries right next to pungent, almost gamey goat cheese in the same bite, that is just brilliant contrast.
The brain absolutely craves that sensory whiplash.
Sensory whiplash, I love that.
It's true. The fructose in the blueberries neutralizes the sharp lactic tang of the goat cheese and the acidity of the balsamic. Meanwhile, the tannic quality of the walnuts provides the structural crunch that soft berries and cheese lack.
It's all about balance.
Wow.
And speaking of soft textures, we cannot discuss satiety without looking at the mechanics of avocado.
Oh, absolutely not. Avocado is essential.
Now, we all hear constantly that avocados are packed with healthy fats. That's not new information. But gastronomically speaking, what is that fat actually doing to the rest of the bowl?
Well, fat acts as a buffer. both on your tongue and in your digestive tract.
A buffer how?
When you eat a piece of avocado, the lipids literally coat your palate. This physical coating smooths out the astringent, bitter compounds found in leafy greens and the sharp bite of a vinegar-based dressing.
That's like the butter of the plant world.
Yes, it harmonizes all the flavors, but more importantly, once it reaches your stomach, fat slows down gastric emptying.
Meaning it physically delays how quickly the food leaves your stomach and enters your intestines.
Exactly. And this slows the absorption of carbohydrates into your bloodstream, which prevents that massive spike and subsequent crash in blood sugar.
The dreaded 3 p.m. crash.
Right. That is why a salad with avocado, like the California mix they suggest, with cherry tomatoes, cucumbers, and hemp seeds, keeps you stabilized straight through until dinner.
Whereas a fat-free salad leaves you reaching for a sugary snack at 3:0 p.m.
Exactly. You're starving again because the food emptied from your stomach too fast.
Okay, so we've hacked the leafy base, and we've added sensory contrast and stabilizing fats. But what if I'm just genuinely deeply hungry?
The big hunger.
Yeah. A lot of people listening are probably thinking, freshness is great, but I just worked a 9-hour shift, and a cold, fresh salad isn't going to cut it.
This raises an important question about our psychological conditioning around food. Who decided that salads must be exclusively cold?
Right. I mean, think about the last time you ordered a salad in the dead of winter.
Oh, it's the worst.
The restaurant is drafty, you're shivering, and you're forcing down ice-cold cucumbers and chilled tomatoes. Your brain completely rejects it because your body is craving warmth and comfort.
The psychology of temperature in a meal is massive. Integrating warm, roasted elements fundamentally alters how your brain categorizes the food.
So it feels more like a real meal.
Exactly. Take roasted sweet potatoes, for example. When you roast them, the Maillard reaction occurs.
That's the browning, right?
Yes, the natural sugars caramelize, creating a deep, complex sweetness. When you place warm sweet potatoes over a bed of mixed greens, the radiant heat slightly wilts the leaves beneath them, softening their texture.
And it changes the olfactory experience too, right?
Oh, completely.
Because heat volatilizes the aromatic compounds. You can actually smell the roasted sweetness and the earthy spices before you even take a bite, which preps your digestive system.
Your mouth starts watering before you even eat.
The sources outline this harvest bowl with roasted sweet potatoes, pecans, dried cranberries, and pumpkin seeds. It essentially tricks your brain into feeling like you're eating a warm, comforting autumn dinner, even though the base is entirely greens.
Precisely. And if we want to escalate the satiety even further, we introduce heavy-hitting proteins.
Like what?
Chickpeas are a phenomenal plant-based option. When you roast them, you add incredible auditory crunch and massive amounts of dietary fiber.
I think it's so crispy.
They do. But if you want to turn a salad into a definitive culinary centerpiece, you introduce a protein like grilled salmon.
Oh, salmon is a game changer. The sources highlight a bowl with mixed greens, grilled salmon, avocado, cucumbers, and olive oil.
It's brilliant.
If you look at the mechanics of that, you are stacking layers of high-quality fats. You have the monounsaturated fats in the olive oil and avocado, and the polyunsaturated omega-3s in the salmon.
And returning to our earlier point about chemical satiety, that specific combination of warm animal protein and layered fats sends an overwhelming cascade of satiety signals to the brain.
You literally can't be hungry after that.
It is physically impossible to eat a bowl constructed like that and still feel hungry.
All right, so let's say we've built this architectural marvel. We have our chemically broken down kale, our sweet and pungent flavor contrasts, and our warm roasted sweet potatoes.
The perfect bowl.
We are at the finish line. But the sources issue a pretty massive warning here. You can do all of this perfectly and still completely destroy the entire meal in the last 3 seconds.
The dressing pitfall.
Yeah.
A salad is only as good as its dressing, and the sources explicitly state that turning to commercial bottled dressings is where most well-intentioned meals fail.
Let me guess. Because they're full of hidden calories.
Well, actually, it's worse than just calories.
Really?
Yeah, it's about chemical interference. Bottled dressings are heavily reliant on industrial seed oils, artificial stabilizers, and excess refined sugars.
Okay, stabilizers. What do those do?
Those stabilizers are designed to give the dressing an artificially thick shelf life. But what they do in your bowl is completely blanket and mask the delicate, curated flavors of the ingredients you just prepared.
Oh, so it just coats everything in a weird film.
Exactly. You lose the tartness of the berry, the earthiness of the quinoa, and the specific fat profile of the avocado. It all just tastes like manufactured ranch or sugary Italian dressing.
That is basically culinary sabotage.
It really is.
It's like buying a luxury sports car and putting the absolute cheapest, lowest grade gas in it.
That's a perfect analogy.
So the alternative is making a vinaigrette at home, which the sources insist takes about 60 seconds.
It's so fast.
Just extra virgin olive oil, lemon juice, Dijon mustard, garlic, and black pepper.
So simple.
But I want to talk about that mustard for a second, because if you're listening to this and you hate the taste of mustard, you might be tempted to leave it out.
Don't do it.
Right. Because it's not actually in there just for flavor, is it?
No, omitting the mustard would be a massive structural error. Mustard acts as an emulsifier.
Okay, science time again.
Yeah. Oil and lemon juice, which is water-based, naturally repel each other. If you just shake oil and lemon juice together, they will separate immediately the second you stop shaking.
Right. Oil and water hate each other.
Exactly. So you need a biochemical diplomat.
The diplomat.
The mucilage in the mustard seed contains molecules that have both a water-loving end and a fat-loving end.
Oh, so it bridges the gap.
Yes. The mustard essentially holds hands with both the water in the lemon juice and the lipids in the olive oil, forcing them into a treaty.
That's amazing.
This chemical binding creates a smooth, unified liquid that has structural cling.
Structural cling. So instead of the oil just pooling at the bottom of the bowl and the lemon juice making the top leaves soggy, the emulsified dressing evenly coats every single ingredient.
Ensuring every bite has the exact same flavor profile, that's the magic of emulsification.
It suspends the flavor perfectly.
It does. It suspends it evenly across the entire surface area of the meal. And when you top that perfectly dressed bowl with a handful of crushed nuts or seeds for that final, crucial auditory crunch,
You have built a masterpiece.
you really have.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? We've stripped the salad down to its chemical and structural components today.
We covered a lot of ground.
We really did. We talked about denaturing cellulose with acid, stabilizing blood sugar with fats, the psychology of temperature contrast, and the science of emulsification. How do we synthesize this into a daily practice?
The core takeaway across all the research is that healthy eating should never require suffering.
No more clamshells of despair.
Exactly. If it requires willpower, it is unsustainable. By actively engineering your meals with fiber, complete proteins, layered fats, and sensory contrast, you are directly fueling your body's optimal state.
You're working with your biology, not against it.
Right. But more importantly, you are creating an experience that your brain actually craves. The ultimate goal isn't just to eat vegetables.
What is it then?
It's to construct a bowl of food that is so structurally and chemically satisfying that you would choose it over anything else on a menu.
You want it to be a highlight, not a hurdle.
Beautifully said.
So if you're listening right now, take these mechanics into your own kitchen. Ditch the bottled dressing and play diplomat with some mustard and oil. Give your kale that acidic chemical breakdown.
Massage those greens.
Throw something sweet against something pungent. And don't be afraid to add a warm, caramelized sweet potato to a cold bed of greens.
Give your palate the contrast it's looking for.
Exactly. Which leaves me with this final thought for you to ponder today. Think back to that sad plastic clamshell container we talked about at the very beginning.
The ultimate symbol of workplace despair.
The ultimate symbol. If something as universally dreaded as the diet salad can be completely transformed into your favorite, most vibrant meal of the week, just by understanding a few basic rules of culinary chemistry and sensory contrast.
You're profound when you think about it.
It is. It makes you wonder, what other boring or difficult routines in your daily life are just one simple perspective shift away from becoming the absolute best part of your day?